Ah, whew. Well, this took a bit longer than expected, but here we are, fellas. It's episode 2 of Reading Your Comments. The show where I go through some of these comments and, well, read them. It's all in the title, guys. What more can I say? So I noticed some of you enjoyed the first episode and wanted to see more of this, and so I figured since the first episode served as a way to celebrate a milestone of views, I decided we should keep going with that system for a bit to see how it goes from here. I figured this kind of structure would help give newcomers enough time to find these videos and for them and or returning viewers to leave new comments. But depending on how things turn out, that layout might be subject to change. But that mostly depends if something ends up going wrong somewhere down the road. But anyway, a short while ago, we reached 200,000 views. So it's time to see what lies within some of these comments. It could range from either clever remarks, or comment suggestions, or legit criticisms. The list goes on. So with our selected comments in the air, I say it's time to dive right in. Awesome review! I'm still so sad about what happened to it. Hopefully Owen can finish this series somehow. Regardless though, I look forward to whatever show he'll make next, Infinity Train or otherwise. Yeah, same here. I'm not sure how likely it is that Infinity Train will come back, as sad as that is to say, but seeing as though we've had a lot of fan-favorite shows in the past that ended up getting some sort of great comeback, there's always a chance this show won't be any different. And with that in mind, I do hope Infinity Train makes some sort of comeback in any given form. But as for the other projects Owen Dennis has going on, I'd be looking forward to seeing what else he has planned too. Hopefully the outcome doesn't lead to anything too sus this time, or end up luring imposters into the studio, but I'm sure Dennis and his team have some nice tasks in store for the next project. Oh god damn it. Yeah, I'm sure we've all heard about this by now, but as absurd as it sounds, Owen Dennis has been put in charge of an Among Us show. It may sound crazy, but I'm still willing to watch it. Even despite the possible circumstances surrounding this show. Like, yeah, I'm willing to admit this show very likely won't end up being deep like Infinity Train, and even still, there's no real say how the show will turn out on its own just yet, given how the high and low points of game adaptations have been a lot more evened out in recent years. And heck, I'm not even sure how relevant Among Us will be once they release the show. I don't even know when the show in general is coming out. I don't think anyone knows yet. But regardless, I'll be willing to give this show a fair shot, and probably even getting around to making a video where I discuss it. Okay, fine, that's the last reference I'm making on it. For now. I'm glad people are still talking about this show. I want my trains back! Well, thanks. After seeing how much Atomic was into Infinity Train, I figured I should check out the show too. Both for myself, and partially to return the favor for everything he's done for me up to that point. And the next thing I knew, I ended up going through the whole show all in one day. So I knew by that point I had to start preparing for a video for it. I'm not kidding when I say this is one of those times where I was super quick to get a script done for the review. I already expected this video would turn out to be some sort of treat, but what I didn't expect, however, was that this would end up being my third most popular video. So thanks to everyone who helped to get this far. It's nice to see how many fellas out there still care for the show as much as we do. And I agree, it would have been great to see what else Dennis and the gang had to offer. Hey Zaslev, get the hint? At some point in the video, he kept mentioning how he wished he'd seen closure from character from previous seasons, like the Apex and Denizens in Season 4. So he probably didn't pick up on the fact that Season 4 happens before literally everything else in the show. Season 4 is the prequel. All the other seasons happen in the present days, while Season 4 happens in the 80s. Okay, so maybe I could have done a better job explaining what I was going on about. I was referring to closure not for the season, but the show in general. Given all the characters introduced in the show, it was very likely that most, if not all of them, would get some sort of big end to their story. And yeah, the characters we see do for the most part, but it always felt like there was going to be some sort of extension to their ending somewhere. And there does exist proof that they were planning to go further with the story, as Amelia was intended to be given a more fleshed out presentation for her backstory. And who's to say they were going to stop there? With the care that was put into Infinity Train, there was a chance they were going to have something big planned for the show's finale. I can't confirm it for myself, but maybe they were going to have some grand, beautiful way to wrap up the story. Maybe the main characters would all get to meet up at older ages and talk about their experiences, or maybe something happens to the train itself. I may not know what they were going to do specifically for the final episode, but I'm sure it would have been worth it. As for Season 4, I actually was aware it was a prequel. I even brought that up at one point myself. But I'll admit, the fact that it's set specifically in the 80s is actual news to me, so I'll give you credit for that. But I guess the rest wasn't really made that clear, and I'm sorry for that. I'll do what I can to stop issues like that in future works. I got about 25 minutes into the video before I realized you sound like Greg Universe. Oh joy, here we go again with the sudden voice connections. Now I can't really confirm nor deny this one, as it's been a while since I've seen anything related to Steven Universe, with that still being the movie for the most part. So for the time being, I'll just have Jordan decide on that. So tell us fam, is my voice like Greg's? Give us a side-by-side comparison, and we'll see whether or not we really do sound that similar. I'll take your best judgment on this.
What makes you so sure? Well, has any human ever tried fusing with a gem?
Up until that point, I spent years being familiar with just the first movie, and nothing more.
I can sort of see it, not gonna lie.
How does this not have more views? Good job on the vid, man. Oh, well, thank you. But honestly, we have Jordan to thank more so for how it turned out, so be sure to send them some love too. Still, thank you for the kind words. Dude, your channel is so underrated. Oh, well, oh shucks, you're too kind, fam. Still, thanks for that. It warms my heart to read stuff like this and to know people feel this way about my online material, so thank you as well. Long live my reign of underration. I'm pretty sure that's not a word, but let's roll with it. I like your channel. Will you marry me? Okay, now this is getting awkward. Moving on. Tom and Jerry was made by MGM, not Hanna-Barbera. Again, I should have been more clear on that statement as well. True, MGM was the studio that brought us Tom and Jerry. However, there were two fellas in particular who created the characters while working there. Can you guess who? Exactly! It was William and Joseph, the Hanna-Barbera guys themselves. And that was what I was trying to say back then. They made a lot of iconic franchises while they were together, even outside of their own studio. And I just figured, since Tom and Jerry happened to be one of those franchises, that it would probably fit in with their legacy. Though I'll admit, even though I should have, I never brought up that detail of them giving life to Tom and Jerry through MGM. I guess I was just getting too carried away with that point itself at the time. So, I'm sorry about that. That was another mistake on my end, and again, I'll try to avoid stuff like that down the road. I'm confused. How'd this man get recommended to me? Anyway, great video. Oh, thanks. Though, to be honest, I don't know who this particular man is either. He seems to take control of me around Halloween, which is admittedly one of the most disturbing experiences I've ever had. Everything feels like a giant blank of total blurriness for days. I have no control of my body, and I struggle to remember, well, anything. I'm hoping to find some form of help to get something done about him before it's too late. And yet, I don't know how much longer I have. I'm always watching. This narrator is a total wanker. I hate the narrator's voice. Wait, what? I have a narrator? Really? Well, when did this happen? I never knew about this, but still, that's awesome. Like, that sounds really cool. And I'm sorry he's getting this kind of feedback, though, but I'd love to meet him if possible. Hello? Good morning, young one. I had a feeling I'd find you here this time of day. Whoa, okay, who are you? Well, I go by many different names across all these different realms, but you may refer to me as Naribius A. Torton, or Narrator for short. Wait, Narrator? Like, narrator? You may not believe me, but we do have a bit of a connection together. We even got to meet in one of your videos. If you may remember, your Puss in Boots retrospective. Wait, so that was you? Precisely! As you can see, we have a bit of a spiritual bond, you and I. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. Hey, I hope you don't mean any harm by these kinds of people. No hard feelings toward them, I assume? No, fear not. I'm a very merciful type. I'll let them go as they please. Well, still, it's pretty cool to meet you. You know, we can probably do collabs together. You know, you can get to narrate a lot of my different scenes. That'd be pretty cool, right? Well, I'm afraid we can't spend too long, young one. For you see, I must explore many different realms, and narrate so many people's lives, give them the voice that they wish on a recap of their own memories. Oh, alright, I can understand that, yeah. But fear not, for I will always come by to visit you. And I will always be here when you're in need of videos that may need a different voice. Well then, I hope I'll see you later, narrator. I bless you, young one. And with that I say, good day. Well, that guy was pretty interesting, to say the least. I wonder when he's gonna come back, if he really will return at some point.
I'm that coworker he put in that video. It looks so cool.
Congrats! You've expanded the amphibian army! Well, I wouldn't say expanded exactly, but she did provide me enough reasons to check out Amphibian in the first place. And while I did have a nice time watching through the show for the most part, I wouldn't really call myself an active fan. Although I'm still glad I took the time to watch it to the end, and yeah, I may have been late to the whole party, but it was still a nice experience. And maybe if there were any future installments coming out, not that it's likely to happen, I still wouldn't mind watching those either. I might not say I'd have as much hype as the next guy, but I'd still be willing to give it a fair chance. That or whatever Braley has in store next. Also, thanks to that very coworker for providing her voice for her own comment. I'm not sure when she'll get to see this, but I'm sure she'll be thrilled to see how it turns out. And just for giggles, I've got a few more cameos I'd like to share for this episode.
My guy, you've come such a long way in content creation. Can't wait to see what lies in your future.
Aw, thanks, Pi. I'm looking forward to seeing what you've got coming too. And I'm glad to see you've been sticking around with me and everyone else all this time. All some others we knew were... well, actually, I'm not too sure what happened to some of the others. But it's still nice to see you're still here with us. And I'm grateful to have your support for this long. Even years before Nunion was even a thing. And that really says something. And I feel one more cameo should be given out. And I think you deserve it, Jordan.
Congrats again, man. You deserve over 200,000 views, not to mention over 1,500 subscribers at this point. Thank you for all the support you have given me, and I'm glad to help you out in return, brother.
Oh, thanks, mate. And congrats to you too. For simply being yourself, for staying awesome, for doing a great job helping out with all these videos, and at the very least for putting up with me for so long. I'm glad we formed the bond we have together, and I hope it stays strong for years to come. And I'd say that'll be enough for this episode. Thanks to everyone who stopped by to watch the Nunion projects we have here at the moment, and for leaving comments, as that's what's mostly helping to keep the series alive, and partially helping to keep this channel alive itself. I should address that unless YouTube's hiding some from me for whatever reason. I do read every comment on these videos, but just because one of your comments doesn't appear in these episodes, that doesn't immediately mean I have anything against it or that I'm trying to avoid it. There's a chance I just might not know what to say for some. You may have noticed in this episode and the last episode that I tried to make my different responses to these comments unique, if nothing else. So don't feel bad or don't start giving up hope if your comment didn't end up in this episode. There's always the chance it'll appear in the next episode or one of the upcoming episodes later. But with that in mind, we're coming close to the 300k view mark just over the hill. So the next episode of the series probably won't be too far behind. So be sure to share some Nunion videos around, maybe show them around to some of your friends, and of course, leave some comments on these videos, as they're one of the biggest fuel sources for the series. And aside from this, there's still plenty of the year ahead of us, and plenty of other reviews and projects in store that'll hopefully go along smoothly as the year moves on. Thanks to those who made it to the end, and of course thanks to Gia for the thumbnail, and to Jordan for putting this together. Now on to the upcoming works. There's no saying what the next project will exactly be just yet, but like I always say at the end of these videos, we'll soon see, won't we?